Lockhart here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Before we get into what we're doing, I've got some bills to pay. First shout out I need to do is to IndieCD.org. That's the Independent Creator Directory. Your one-stop shop for the best and the brightest authors, musicians, editors, proofreaders. These are the people who can make your dreams come true. So if you are an author and you need stuff worked on, if you are an artist looking to meet up with people, maybe you're a penciler but you need stuff flatted, get on IndieCD and see who can help you. The other thing is the owner of IndieCD is for a limited time till the end of the year. You only need $5, and for $5 you get lifetime support and a presence online that is free of concern of the major billionaires doing anything weird. So please support IndieCD.org. We're made possible by sales of my books, The Simple Sword, The Fighting Axe, and The Simple Spear, all part of my ongoing series of Western manuals of defense. Coming early 2024, there will be additions to that series. As a tiny teaser, 20 years ago, I made Melee. And Melee is a little game that you can use a chessboard or any grid and whatever minis you have to simulate your own fighting forces. That was designed for unit commanders. Why is my camera doing this? It's just been off. Well, I'm sorry, pardon the blur. My camera looks like I feel right now. However, Melee, there we go. Had to pull it back out. Melee is a great little resource and a quick game to keep yourself mentally sharp between, the long, cold, dark time when maybe you can't fight or a lot of people aren't fighting. Consider it. Other games I've done include the Big Stompy Robots core rulebook, when you prefer more explosions with your tactics, as well as the quick play version and the new version that's coming out soon, as well as Through the Thinning Veil, 7 great stories to chill your bones. Now, I have an Art and Tales book. I have a few others. You can find all that on Amazon. But the real people who make it possible are my patrons: Off in the Woods, Frog G, Ronald Rain, Bladed Thesis, Brian K. Morris, Cindy Kep, and Steve Augusto over on patreon.com/The Historical Fencing Guild. They pay $1 a month. There you go, as little as $1 a month. Though a couple are substantially more generous, and it is needed to help me keep the lights on around here in this increasing mess that's behind me, and help me bring quality product reviews to you. I also want to remind folks that if you're going to Purple Heart Armory, woodenswords.com, please use this link. This is my affiliate link. I get a tiny portion of your spending. I believe it's 2 or 3% back. And more importantly, Christian knows when I come to him and say, hey, could you make this trainer? I'm speaking from a platform that has the ears of many great martial artists. And I will say this. I sought out the affiliate program because I wanted to support a great American sword trainer company. Now, I own many of the Chinese-made polypropylene weapons. They are fantabulous. I'm not going to lie about that. But I think what Christian has done over there with things like the 1.33 is incredible, because it's letting people have a reasonable, sub $50 option to get into what we do. His higher end stuff is amazing. He has nylon weapons that are on par with anything that South Coast Swords imports into America from Black Fencer. However, the basic line is basically, to me, the best investment in Western martial arts today. And I'm pleased and I'm proud to have a tangible connection to that company and to be able to support them in what I do and talk about that. So please use the link in my chat whenever you go get stuff, and that will help us all. And I think that's wonderful. That being said, I will never allow any product support to affect a product review. If I don't like something, I will tell you all point blank I don't like it and why. You've seen me do it. All right. Before I get into the bread and butter of the chat, I need to fill you guys in because since Friday, those of you who watched the Friday show know I was rather ill. On the off chance that you haven't seen the things on my other channel, by Sunday night, I had to go to the emergency room and they had to put a bag of saline into me and a few other choice medicines to get me back up and running. And I'm still fighting the ailment that I had to deal with then. I went to the doctor today, and I will be living off of these guys for quite a while. I try to get my electrolytes back in a semblance of balance, as hopefully, knock on plastic, knock on wood, I get to fight off the end of this dread stomach condition that I have acquired. If it doesn't, I get to go back, and then we get to do all sorts of fun new tests. If I don't sound excited by that, that's because it's been very difficult on me for the last week of extreme temperature spikes, illness. It did put me behind. I apologize. I actually had a couple of my other shows covered by Joe Bachman and Brian K. Morris, to which I am eternally grateful. But I was able to get my stuff together mostly to be okay for you. My color may seem off because I am off. I will endeavor to make it through this whole program for our standard hour. But should my color, suddenly change, if I start slurring my words more than usual, which I know may be difficult for you to notice, let me know. I appreciate you guys. You are the most kind and caring and supportive chat basically online, and it is a privilege to be involved. So want to say, before we go any farther, thank you for your support and thank you for your patience as I deal with, again, whatever this is. I lost 20 pounds in a week, guys. I have been very, very sick and eaten very little because I just couldn't. So that's what's going on. Instead of just joking around about things that people want, I figure I should fill you in on my plans for 2024. Aside from the prep for the convention that I will be hosting in Fowler, Indiana, which please come out. We still have lots of table space for people who are looking to sell their wares. I know most of the people involved in the guild are rather far flung, so I understand if you can't make it. But I want you to know that it's more than welcome and more than open to you. I want to support independent small creators and what we do. So we'll be doing that. I'll be selling my books. I have some new stuff in the works I want to get out and ready in time to debut it. It's a lot. I have a whole lot going on and a whole lot writing on it. It sort of took up most of my discretionary income for a long time. We're not quite to hard candy Christmas around these parts, but we did just drop all the stuff both to get a haul for a convention and the insurance for it and get an LLC set up. It's been a busy, busy run over here. Now, despite all that, because I want to keep you guys fully informed, and normally this would go into the blogs, but frankly, I have been just swamped between being sick and trying to get my end of year materials done. I do have my video list that I want to work on. One thing I want to prioritize in the near future is a couple crafting and maintenance videos, because my hands are starting to be much better than they were. Knock on wood, and because the true cold hasn't hit, I might be able to pull some stuff off. There's a moratorium on the pumpkins because, frankly, they got gross. So we'll have to do something else for a while. I do have access to gallon water bottles, so I'm sure I can find something I could do bodily harm to. Um, that is in the works. Uh, I want to do my rapier rebuild for my personal fencing rapier. Now, I am doing this from the mindset of getting it cleaned up so that I can put it up, because I think it's time to just take that wonderful weapon and actually retire it. And most of the weapons from that period, because I've had them that long and I'm not using them actively. I may go so far is as to acquire a new cup hilt rapier should the need for steel fencing go. But I think the weapons of my youth have earned the right to retire. So they will be cleaned up and polished up and then put up. And I will be seeking out the other ones for similar treatment. It means as I'm redoing my study and my room, which you'll notice there are more piles and things moving around behind me. That's because I am, well, I was before I got sick, actively working on this. Um, so that is in the works. I want to dig out my leatherworking and do some basic stuff for you. Simple gorgets, maybe simple bracers, using the patterns and ideas that are in the simple sword. If that is of interest of you for you, um, I'm having trouble finding a couple things people have asked for. The means of reviewing fight scenes, which is something I would love to do. It may have to be something I set up in either a Discord kind of scenario or something that, invite only panel for patrons, where we I can run a film and we can watch it and the video can be up on Patreon, but I don't want to run into the issues of copyright. So I'm trying to find a way to appease you guys and keep myself out of trouble, because reaction videos can be a very dicey area to walk. I'm still doing my drills. I've actually maintained my drilling right through the illness, except for the day I went down to the emergency room because I was not in any shape to do anything other than be assisted into bed. And there was a day recently where I didn't have any spoons left, and I physically couldn't hold the swords up by the time it was time for me to do my drills. And part of what we do, I know I promote you guys and I tell you we have to push and push, but there has to also come the wisdom of knowing your limitations. And when you are in really bad shape, sometimes you have to rest knowing that you're going to lose ground. And it hurts both physically and emotionally. It hurts the pride. It is not easy for me to sit and rest. But sometimes it's necessary, because I've warned you guys, you have to give yourself breaks. If you don't give yourself breaks, your body will demand breaks at its convenience, not yours. So I want to try to focus on that with the start. The new year starting. I want to go back over from the very beginning. I'd like to set up and go back over your drilling, your point control, the so you've never held a sword uh, kind of stuff, all the way through. I want to go through the simple sword, which parallels a lot of the skills you need for the basic and advanced rapier authorizations in the society, or at least when I was active. That was a big format influence to how I built my curriculum. From there, we can take what we can learn, what we've learned, and apply it to more concussive things, being your axes and your spears. And we may circle around. I'm not sure if we're going to circle around to the strong sword or to the rapid rapier, which will be a book dedicated to just understanding a quick and efficient guide to understanding single sword. And it will have a lot of material that would be found in the simple sword, but there are a lot of people who have asked for a simplified, even from the simple sword guidebook, for people who they're not intending to teach. They're not worried about assessment. They just want a mechanical workbook. And I intend to provide that. I will also, once I get some of the other literary things that I am doing finished, I will be returning to Tactical Kindness, aka the book I don't want to write, because it's always very difficult. However, I'm not going to put myself in that mentality before Christmas. It's too draining to stay in the mindset constantly of taking trained hypervigilance and experience with bad dudes and being in that combative mindset, because I've worked very hard to be able to finally at times put that down so I can have a concept called a life. So finding that balance is tricky. And it was notated that when I was working on it too very hard, it made me a little more bristly, which happens when you're thinking constantly in the mindset of, okay, what am I going to do when they attack from this angle? What if there's a bad guy here? If you live in that world, it will keep you, it will let you survive. That mentality, that hyper vigilance will let you survive, but it makes it very, very, very difficult to live. And considering my lifestyle currently and the levels of risk aversion I've built into large parts of my lifestyle, I don't need to be on active ping 24/7. And it's taken me over 5 years of being down here to be able to put down a lot of that. Now, when I go back to my old stomping grounds, basically, as soon as I'm, to Kentland or farther north, uh, that skill set that, I put it back on like pieces of armor. And by the time I get back to, say, Valpo or Michigan City or Portage or that neck of the woods, Maryville especially, it has settled in, and I'm back into the necessary awareness for the more crowded, more tactically challenging situations I find myself in. Because there's more threats that can be found out there looking for you than down here for the most part, that you'd really have to be dumb to encounter. I don't bump into a lot of drunken people looking for fights in Rural Park, Indiana, in my front yard. It happens occasionally, but very, very rarely. And I've been able to talk, set individuals down enough to keep everything nice and cool. And now it's all groovy. I mean, I'm living a much more copacetic life. Uh, that's a big part. One thing I learned very early on, and I actually learned it from my diabolical, evil, no good, rotten original instructor. It is one thing I picked up from him. I picked up a lot from him, and a lot more in spite of him. But one thing you'd say: if you're fighting, fight. When you're not fighting, don't fight. And that, go, is that not phrased in the most do or do not? There is no try. Let me sound mysterious martial arts hokum you ever heard. What it means is when I'm in reach of my opponent or me, when either one of us is in reach or possibly in reach, I need to be on. I need to be ready to snap, respond, one tempo. But I don't need that level of focus when I've stepped back, when the fight's broken for a second. You come out of the scrim either as a single dueling situation, or a tactics situation. You're on a list field in a melee. When you get that, you let it down. You get some air in. Recenter. Reevaluate. You're not actively fighting and blocking and throwing and making shots happen. You're back. So your body can rest, your mind can switch modes to assess what you just happened. Did you learn anything? Are they favoring a, a leg? Are there, their parry's starting to show stamina loss? It's a good time to take that second and let the back of the mind percolate, and it'll tell you things. And that's when you'll find on the next one you're going to try slightly different things. You're going to possibly press an advantage, possibly realize that opening is a big trap. But because many times an advanced fencer will feign an opening. They're feigning the opening because remember, all combat is conversation. They're leaving this opening to encourage you to come attack that opening, because you are now doing what they want. They are prepared and they have plans to deal with your actions. It's like a feint, you can throw a shot just enough to get them to parry it offline and then come around and do something shady to them. It's beautiful. It's elegant. That is part of the physical chess aspect. But occasionally, when somebody's doing something to, hit me here, come on, look, it's wide open. My guard's low, this is open. You've got this great shot to my shoulder. They'll neglect to realize that by making the opening, this elbow's a little overextended and, might be able to get popped. So a lot of times, if I see two openings, the going for the second happens. But I'm getting into the weeds a bit here. What you don't want to be is still, you've broken from the fight. Let's go, because that's just burning juice. You're burning away your stamina. Just think of it as video game turns. That little green bar just going, when you could be and you should be taking that moment to refill your stamina Get a little bit of regen there. Okay. Okay, this is good. Now, there are some people who have to have that bam, 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 bam to stay motivated. And that means in the early exchanges of a bout, they're very formidable. In later, they run out of juice. Okay, this is a very aggressive fighter. So knowing that when you're not fighting, don't fight. Rest, be comfortable. Chat. You doing okay? Yeah, good, good. I'm glad you're having. You having fun? Are you having fun yet? Uh, this will mess with people because some people will go, "You're not taking it seriously." No, idiot, I'm taking it deadly seriously. This would be the point where in a real exchange, I go, "Hey, we could walk away now. You've shown you're a you're an impressive fighter. You have skills. I've explained that I have some skills. We don't have to die here. Nobody needs to die here." Because that's a good thing for the practical of what we do, guys. In that space that you've gained, if you don't need it to survive, to talk your way out of the fight. And if you're in a tournament, well, you're playing it as the game, you could use the talk to encourage, again, maybe you want them to make an aggressive charge at you because they're winded and you can tell. Maybe you want them to back down and you can bluff them a bit. There are options. This is where we engage the little gray cells. So when you are fighting, fight. That's the only thing you should be doing. And if you've done it right, you're not thinking. Your body's doing what it needs to do. It's on autopilot. It's like when you drive home late at night. It's blocking and doing and parroting. Your subconscious is going, they're in reach, they're not. That's a threat. That's not. Get out of here with that, And you're all the while you're ting 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 pop 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 pop, not falling into patterns, but definitely being part of the song. Then as soon as you break, I don't need to keep dancing around. Da, 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 da. No, calm. I'm still in a positive stance. My favorite stance is I don't want any trouble. Nope, no trouble. I tend to have my arms out a little farther if possible, but I'll pull my back. Don't want trouble. Bunny ears, man. Bunny ears. I'm not looking for trouble. Nope, nope, nope. Because I'll tell you what, if I go here, I'm fighting. If I'm here, I don't want any trouble. But look. Whoop. I can close up. Where have we seen this? Guys, deep in the annals of my past, I have just a hint, just a peppering, a smackerel of Striker. It doesn't come out often, but every once in a while, if you pay attention, you'll see that. Now, I don't like that because it leaves too high a guard, leaves your sides vulnerable. And as I am a shorter guy, it's really easy for people to get that. So you learn. That's why I have shorter reach than everybody. So I want to make sure we're both out of each other's reach. We're either both in each other's reach and it is going. Like right now, in your shorts, I am standing on on your jock strap going, let's go. Or I am out of both our ranges. What I don't want to be as a smaller fighter is in the deadly, deadly zone of where they can reach me, but I can't really reach them. That's bad berries. That is an batsu. No, 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 no. That's bad. That's ucky. That's gross. No, don't go there. And I know I'm using incredibly childish terms for that, but it also will resonate in the back of your mind. Trust me. You don't want to be where they can hit you and you can't hit them. Now, if you are somebody who has the advantage of reach, the advantage of height, yes, that is your bread and butter. You should be doing movement drills all day to move things to make sure that they stay in that place where you can hit them and they can't hit you. This should make you happy. But balancing that is a big part of how we maintain how we're using our actions, whether we're actually engaged with an opponent or if we've had a moment to disengage. Now, for me, the hardest thing for me to do, and it is mechanically difficult, is to yell for help. Yelling for help is the hardest thing for me to do in a engagement. And the reason is not training scars. You don't yell for help, in a sparring. No, it's that in my youth, yelling for help always brought a worse situation upon me. Yelling for help always brought more bad guys or authorities that would blame me for whatever happened. Yelling for help in my youth inspired the enemy, the opponents, towards braver and more aggressive action. So I learned to be talkative or very quiet, depending on what I'm doing and how seriously I'm doing it. Sort of the Spider-Man clause. If all is going well, I'm all about the banter. If not, if I get real quiet, then things are going to get real interesting, depending on the situation. But I've been prattling for over a half hour, and I haven't gotten into the comments yet. So I'm going to go, and we're going to scroll up and get through your comments real quick. And I'm going to take a drink before I do. I hope you don't mind. Considering how much of the stuff I've drunk, it is staggering that it still tastes good to me today. But we'll go through the comments and we'll make sure I haven't missed any questions or anything of value. Please, while I'm doing this, take time to hit the like. Maybe share this in a group that might benefit from the style of conversation. And as always, if you have questions or comments of your own, please weigh in and drop them, even if you're watching this in the review. I do love addressing comments. However, if you are watching this in the review, you're watching this in rewind, after it's been posted live, please, in your comment, make sure anything I said is clearly referenced to, so I know where you're coming from. Okay. Alex Creation was first in the door. Good evening. Just here to listen tonight. That's okay, Alec. I'm very good at blathering. Foxy says, good evening. Good evening, Foxy. Hey there, Thesis. Good evening, Thesis. And how is everyone this morning? I'm starting to feel just a bit better. My stomach is still dubious, but it's, expected. Cindy Cap says, hello, is it me you're looking for? Hi, Cindy. And we've got, hey, Cindy, thanks for the shout out this morning. Get a chance to say it before you left. Yes, I'm trying to promote your channel around Thesis. It may take a bit, but we'll get more eyes on your work. Hope you're at least feeling a bit better. Otherwise, you should go rest. I immediately following my morning stream went and I took a nap. And then I got up because I had to go to the doctor's appointment and ate some food Mandy made for me on the road. Bless that beautiful woman. And then Went to the doctor's appointment, hit a couple stores out of necessity and, just the joy of it. Slumped back home, and I, being fully exhausted after, another blood draw and all that other stuff, slopped back into bed for a while. And she woke me up about half hour later. I ate something else, and I came and did the program. So I caught up a little bit again. I'm still quite tired, but my voice is coming somewhat back. I want to say I've had 3 of these today, because the doctor's like, you need to get electrolytes. And when the doctor says I need to do something, I tend to do it. So I'm pushing this till I feel sane, and then I'll be drinking out of these with Squeezy in it when I don't feel so sane. And but thank you for the concern. Cindy says you need books. Nick has them. Amazon.com/store/Mr. Nicholas Anthony Tucker, author. And then that is my Amazon store. Please go there if you have interest in what I do. Tune into the Historical Fencing Guild tonight at 7. And I believe that is the link for this episode, because Cindy does like to twist time and space in and of itself. I'm really surprised that Cindy hasn't shown up in my front yard in a large blue box. Of course, if she did, I'm sure the first thing she would say to me is run. And until you've seen my fat self attempt to run. Anyway, tune into the Historical Fencing Guild other Friday nights at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here, youtube.com/at the Historical Fencing Guild. And drop into the tea room alternating Saturdays. youtube.com/at Bladed Thesis. Now, I do often miss those because Saturdays are family time. Maddie's not working. So the 3 of us all tend to hang out. But I'm trying to catch them in the backlog. Support Nick's efforts to teach people to be safely dangerous. Patreon.com/the Historical Fencing Guild. Please, it is much appreciated. And yes, you can find my art at deviantart.com/NickT. I am hoping, with a few more adjustments to my master plan, to actually be able to open up online commissions again through contacting me through DA and going from there. And let's see. Cindy Kep says getting sick isn't healthy. Oh yes, and this bug, I would even wish this on the Rat Finkoven first instructor I had, and that's saying a lot. But you're supposed to pray for your enemies too. Anyway, well, you just take it easy tonight. I am. And I am planning to do only the lightest of drilling to make sure I can in the very small numbers, because due to the dehydration that I'm feeling, all my tendons and everything is very, very tight. So injury would be easy. And Cindy says bit.ly/shadowfist 50/50 to help send a competition team to ICMAC, which is great. And yes, I had to fix the link. FaceSpeed needs smacking for adding excessive tracking codes to the link, and the site itself does its own malarkey. Now that I've got that sorted, well, it is appreciated. And don't forget to drop a like and all that. Thank you, Foxy. Thesis says, I was doing a bit of light leather work last week for a secret project for my lovely Foxy for Christmas. Can't talk too much about it yet, but rest assured I will after. I'm not going to overly equate the words Foxy and leather in my mind, because I could get into Dutch. Okay, only about a week and a half more. Foxy says tease, which he is. Thesis says only about a week more and a half more, my love. Hope you will like it. And Foxy's sure they will. So it's kind of funny, but I do this when I'm playing video games. If I'm not actively in combat, my weapon is put away. I find it rude to walk up to merchants with your weapon drawn. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. Even if it's just a digital sprite. It's like, okay, bit of saltiness. I saw a lady who was doing cosplay. and she was holding up her little cosplay guns, and she was not using trigger discipline. And somebody scolded her for it. And she's like, yes, I need trigger discipline for my pretend trigger on my pretend gun. And it's yes, you do. Because if you're going to do anything ever with a firearm, you have to treat them all like they're loaded. It's one of the big 4 rules. And in doing that, you keep your booger hook off the bang button. You don't put your finger on the trigger unless you are actively engaging a threat that you want to destroy. So I get where your mentality, put the sword away in conversations. I can't tell you how many times I see people in Nine Dragons walking around with weapons drawn in fight mode. Drives me crazy. I can see it. Have you ever tried yelling for Worcestershire sauce? Or Worcestershire sauce, if you want the other pronunciation. I tried yelling for that. I've tried yelling for other things, but not for as a means of getting help. No. Not yeah. Although that would be funnier doing the like a good neighbor. But it's good hearing from you, Johnny. Hope you're doing well. Foxy says, I love that everyone I know says that differently. Foxy, sister, you gringos all sound the same this late at night. Dude, you should have seen me earlier. I was like a clear highlighter grade of white. I was so pale. It looked like I'd been visited by you. But when they, put the happy little shots in me and everything. Hi, everybody. Hi, Dr. Johnny. I imagine we do. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but Thesis is saying some things. And Jai says, well, dang, it must be even later than I thought. Or did he go full Brazilian on me? What's up, bro? Yep, apparently he did. He likes to surprise people at times. It's neat. Thesis says he speaks a little Portuguese and some Spanish. I dated a girl from Brazil and she taught me some interesting things. Whoo! Y'all, I know the green room is going on right now. And this is not the green room. Oh, God. You know the very specific bad words. All I need to know, pretty much. You learn about the very stressful past few weeks when the actual protagonist of certain events tells you the story. It won't be long. Ooh. Well, I'm always interested in you guys' adventures and misadventures, and who doesn't love a good story? So, well, feel free to weigh in on that in whatever format you're going into. I was asked to do a defense against Latina women video, as I'm not quite sure. I believe somebody was trying to get me in trouble with others, and I quite said no. It is a bad idea to parry the chancla. I will not advise on that one. Y'all are on your own. But we do need, as we hit this part where the year's restarting, it's a good time to cycle back to the beginning. And when we get there, we want to try to build a better base. That's all we're trying to do, guys. We want a better base for both our equipment. We want a better base for our technique. We want a better base for our mindset. We want a better base for our bodies. Yeah, run, try to dodge the flip flops. Not much you can do. Nope. That's one of those where, once more into the breach and you either flee in terror or you just take your lumps. It is what it is. But it's a good time, though. I do like to take the end of the year and get a little bittersweet. The end of the year is always a bittersweet occasion for me, especially uh, due to my age and the age of many people who I care about. Being that I was once the young punk, 20 years younger than everybody I associated with by minimum. Some of them may not be here at the end of the year that were here at the beginning. And sometimes things have changed in that journey. So we have to look at it and see where we've grown, where we've succeeded, where we failed. And we say about failure around here, you know, every time you fail, try to find out why. Try to figure it out. I also, as an instructor, I don't believe in killing somebody three times the same way in a row. Mm-mm. If it were my job to, I'm going to fight you and just use you as a living pell, and I need to win. I could possibly do that, but I find that amoral. I find that a failing of an instructor. If you're killing whoever you're working with the same way multiple times, you should be able to stop then and there and go, this is how I'm killing you. This is what I'm doing. What you're doing isn't responding to this. So let's work on what can be done. Because if it were just about winning, the mentality of sparring would be very, 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 very different. And that's why you have things like tournaments. But sparring is when you get to ask the questions and have the discussions. So we'll have to, ponder that. Okay. We got some more comments. Well, let me get where I'm supposed to be. Next week's treehouse will be, drum roll, improvised Christmas weapons for home defense. Ranking each Christmas decorations, ranking different Christmas decorations and treats as potential weapons. Well, we can certainly go down that road. Many of the ornaments make decent stars to be thrown, the disposables. Glass ornaments can be broken to make noise when somebody crosses the ground in front of an area or as part of area denial. I have a gnat in here. Obviously, wrapping paper tubes are fun, but they're not effective in any way, shape, or form. Depending on the type of fake Christmas tree you may have or real Christmas tree, there's a lot of options there. Scarves, Christmas lights, garlands, the beaded hangy things, all could be used as either in the right hands a flail weapon or as a garrote of some sort. Now, if you could get yourselves onto the great big honking candy canes, unlicked, they make quite functional short use billy clubs. If you've looked them to a point, well, that's what you have to do to, put through the frozen heart of the demonic Frosty, who is the giant snow golem who is lurking around your back door trying to get into your house. Uh, he's doing some grown up Home Alone. That's delightful, and I'm here for it, obviously. Foxy's my inspiration because when she gets a candy cane, she will turn that thing into a stabby cane of death and poking. Yes. Does Die Hard inspired decorations count? I've heard that's a real debate up there. Well, I'm going to have to weigh in on this one, aren't I? Die Hard is a film that was set at Christmas. It has some Christmas tropes involved. It is about almost as much a Christmas movie as Home Alone is. And that means that Heckler and Koch MP5s, MP5 slap, for those of you who know, are then indeed Christmas decorations. God bless America. So we're just going to drop that right then and there. And Foxy says, my current one drew blood. Draw blood now. Woo, werewolves of London. No, please don't cut yourselves. Die Hard, according to Thesis, is a Christmas movie. If that dang Hallmark cookie cutter movies count, then so does Die Hard. Valid point. Barely touched it, too. Oh, my. Cindy Cap, disagree. Wrapping paper tubes are very useful when you have some fireworks and a lot of duct tape. Good Lord, woman. I love my friends. I'd say, by themselves, they aren't terribly effective for anything of serious. But as a means, I'm going to be careful and say that could be fun, but I'm not going to condone that due to YouTube's rather spicy terms of service. America. That was quite American. Well, you know what? Sometimes the Christmas lights on my tree are red, white, and blue. God bless America. And I can get quite patriotic around Christmas season. It just happens. It's part of the holiday. I've heard a rumor that Hallmark is getting close to discovering a second movie plot. I am excited to see how it goes. That's why I asked Guild Facebook everyone's favorite treat or decoration. Don't have much engagement there, but I've got a list. And it starts. It and so it begins, I'll believe it when I don't see it, Cindy. No, we have never been on this one. No, hey, Welk. This is the other show I do where we talk about swords and martial arts and assorted shenanigans. I'm not sure if you were here for it, but you just missed a lively discussion that not only is Die Hard a Christmas movie, but that makes the Heckler and Koch MP5 a valid Christmas decoration. God bless America. I figured you'd take some great joy in that conversation. But every single Hallmark movie is exactly the same. You said, sure. Well, yes. It's interesting from the author side of things. Most of those movies are based on novels, and they are given very strict prompts in how they are to write the novels. Much like Harlequin books have a very careful formula that they follow because it's very comfortable, excuse me, for the reader. The reader goes in knowing that it's a Harlequin book, it's going to have this almost chapter by chapter, this plot point, this plot point, this must happen, this can't happen, etc. Uh, but you can find that level of trope in most beloved film genres. Almost all the coming of age story movies have very similar pacing. Many of the good old fashioned action shoot 'em ups have very similar pacing. Who doesn't love the pacing on a lot of the westerns? I do. Uh, and I count westerns as seasonal because that's my default New Year's Eve plan is to sit and watch the Pale Rider and then the three Blondie movies from Clint Eastwood. So, Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars more, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Because many, many years ago, over at a friend's house, we stumbled on, I want to say, Turner Classic Movies was running this, and we had a blast just eating snacks and watching this. And we started early in the day. It got all the way through, and it started up Pale Rider again, and we watched it again. So, in this world of complex threat, I don't begrudge people too much their comfort items. And if the mass-produced Hallmark Christmas movie where the girl from the small town is made a big life for herself and is looking to settle down with the rich but boring uh, corporate exec in a suit, and she ends up in the town of her youth or whatever, bumps into the local organic Christmas tree grower who also is involved in running the coffee shop, and they fall in love, and she gives up all the trappings of the big city to come back and live the idyllic usually New England life. I totally get it. I okay, so we're going first act. Protagonist meets their future mate. They hate each other. So yes, you're going from enemies to lovers. It's a great trope. Second act, some contrived reason forces them to spend time together while they fall in love. Oftentimes you're going to bump into the "but there's only one bed" trope. Act three, the most painful act because some idiotic contrived lie gets caught and breaks the lovers apart. And then Act four, the relative protagonist's love, a relative of the protagonist's lover corrects the lie and happily ever after. That is one of the great plots. But see, that's a standard Hallmark movie. That isn't a Hallmark Christmas movie. Oh, beautiful. It is. It is. Apparently, Masika D. Great had seen Good, Bad, and the Ugly several times with her parents. She could whistle part of the theme music. That's beautiful. And Foxy says, we all just watched a Hallmark movie together. Thanks, Thesis. I don't know if we are uh, anonymously, generically white enough to have actually been involved in that. But yes, yes. And I feel warm and fuzzy, and neither of these are terribly comfortable emotions, uh, especially during a program based around the gentle, loving art of applied violence. However, I do want to remind you guys that your likes and shares mean the world to keeping this channel going. I am internally grateful to all the kindnesses you guys have shown me. Uh, I would like all my Patreon folks to DM me their mailing addresses, so that at least I can get some Christmas cards out to folks. I'll make sure I have that for everybody. Anybody else interested, you send me your address, I'll send you a Christmas card. This year's been a little shocking on me because people have been kind, and I've never been good at kind. Kind shocks me. Generous. I mean, Christmas came quite a bit early, and let's see. Uh, Masaka also learned the parts of the Doctor Who theme in the opening bars of Airwolf. Oh, oh. You are just putting the great earworms in order in my head. Who is it? I want to say the Dutch Orchestra did a great performance based on the music of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I'm serious. Oh, God, I recently watched it. I think it went out through PBS. Really good if that's your jam. And I know it's off topic. They need one with a sword master. Um, Unfortunately, the characters that I tend to identify with tend to bite it in the end because swordmasters, by their very function, if they are not removed early on in the script, have this bad habit of removing threats with extreme prejudice. Y'all do look white. That is true. Yeah, I know what we're about. Terminally Caucasian. Some of us look like unseasoned chicken. I am aware of this. I don't believe in unseasoned chicken. I find that terrifying, but I do know what I look like, and I've accepted that. Thesis is fairly dark, but I'm almost snow. That's true. I've seen pictures. To make a Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving movie, just change the location season to match. That's a good part of it. You can go back to being a jerk if it helps with familiarity. You guys just be you. I do appreciate the company. Or you and Thesis could be pervy. Oh my. Oh my, all over the place. Don't sell yourself, Foxy. We remember how these chats go. Anyway, before I get myself in trouble, never said I wouldn't help out. No, I'm just as I'm winding down the year, I really want to take some time to just express how much gratitude I have for the people involved in the guild, both the digital guild, you lovely folks, and the local folks. It's a real honor and it's a real privilege to have you guys in my life, and I am staggeringly I am shocked and surprised by the generosity and the kindness that has been shown to me of late, and fighting a bit of my own imposter syndrome on that thing, because my innate nature is to think I don't deserve it, and given the severity of Sunday's doctor visit, and please understand, I am playing it way down. I kind of got the "had you not come in a couple hours, you might not have been able to come at all" speech. It just makes me appreciative. It makes me appreciative to be here, and it makes me appreciative to have the support of you wonderful people. And let's see, don't sell it. Okay, we remember that. Never said wouldn't help out. Okay. Here we are. Is it going to show? There we go. Did you know, Nick? No one dies in Hallmark movies unless you're the parent of the protagonist. Every character I have associated with heavily has bare minimum been impaled and usually killed in a horrific manner. We're talking Giles. We're talking Artie from Warehouse 13. We're talking both Wash and Book. For a while there, I was pretty sure that Joss Wheaton had a thing about trying to stab me, because every character I really identified with that Joss Whedon had a hand in. He ended up impaling, and it was kind of creepy. But I am short. Um, you shouldn't sell yourself that way too. That sounded so much nicer in my head. Don't regret it though. I'm just about 5'2" or 152.4 centimeters. That's nice. Thesis says, I already got yelled at once today for selling myself short. Don't make Nick do it to you, Foxy. That's right. First off, many of us really, really, really enjoy a woman of short build and proper foundation. It can be a preference. Secondly, I've seen nothing but charm and kindness and sweetness and intelligence out off of what Foxy has produced. So I have no problem for her. She's LOL. I'm just being literal about my height. I'm being a short little fox. Now, Foxy, we both know what you're being is a little bit of a brat, and you're enjoying it, and that's okay. Iro died of old age. Calm your butt down. Yeah, well, I'm having to. I never thought I was like Iro. That is something people have told me that I take as an incredible compliment. But it's something I have to work towards later. And Thesis can spank me later. As well he should at this rate, and I have no qualms with that, you know? Well, if you don't mind me saying. None of us do. But it has been an hour, and it seems like the chat is starting to go to places that probably shouldn't be recorded for posterity. So, guys, I'm going to say this. It doesn't matter what you thought. Oh, she's not a very good brat most of the time. Oh, Lord in heaven. Y'all can get me in trouble. There are a lot of creative ways to make Christmas trees this time of year. I'm just saying. But I am going to have to call it. So, guys, yeah, get some rest and hydrate. Hope you turn the corner and feel better. So do I. I think I'm getting there. There are reasons I didn't, make much of appearances online this week. You guys did not want to see what I look like, say Wednesday, especially. Guys, keep your eyes open. Do your drills. Be kind to yourself and each other. And as always, thank you for supporting your local swordmaster. I will be back next week for another episode of the Historical Fencing Guild live stream right here at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And at 10 a.m., I will be back on the other channel doing Nevermind the Furthermore. At some point, probably early, to give a bit of warning, there's a good chance it will be late Saturday morning, early Saturday afternoon. I will be doing Art Time with Nick to get the thumbnail set up for all of that. I have been working on something else just to get some practice in and force myself to slow down and do some details. But there will be Art Time with Nick on the other channel. God willing and the creek don't rise. Next week, we'll get real Christmassy about what's going on, I believe. Let me see what the date is. Let me see what the date is, because it's not popping up like it used to. So, what? Will you just stop that? Yes. Okay. So the 22nd and 29th, I'm looking at the dates. There should be no interruption with the Historical Fencing Guild's live streams at all. I'm probably going to just take Christmas itself off the schedule, the 25th, because I want to spend that with my family. But other than that, I think we're doing pretty good. So, guys, I will see you all very soon. I love you, and you should too. Have a good one.